Sophie meticulously nurtured a new flower bed in a vast garden, and Grace would pay her a visit on weekends to enjoy gardening with her. "Grandma, do you think these rose seedlings will bloom in the spring?" Grace smiled kindly in response to Sophie's question. "They'll surely bloom beautifully, just like you." Her wounded heart began to heal gradually. However, worrisome suspicions began to circulate among the Bradley family. Sarah Johnson, a nearby resident, considered Caitlyn's recent conduct strange. "That girl went shopping in New York again last week. She purchased several new luxury brand bags. Many locals were drawn to her opulent lifestyle, despite the fact that she worked as the family's accountant." In February, Jim Clark, a Bradley real estate veteran, requested an early retirement. His abrupt decision made after more than 30 years of service chaos within the organization. "Something's wrong." Michael's legal advisor, David Stern, stated, "There are rumors in the real estate industry about unclear transactions at Bradley Real Estate." As March began, more worrying developments emerged. One day, Emma got a letter. The sender was Martha Collins, Bradley Real Estate's former accounting director. "Miss, I need to speak with your father." In the letter, Martha expressed major concerns about the company's accounting methods. "Since Miss Caitlyn took over accounting, there have been increasing transactions I cannot verify." Emma drove to her parents' house to check on her father the day after she read the letter. She saw unfamiliar individuals in suits visiting the company. Morning media announced that a tax inquiry on Bradley Real Estate had begun. Authorities initiated a large-scale inquiry in response to an internal whistleblower claim. "Emma, something terrible has happened." Michael's contact at the tax office had called him first thing in the morning. "There's strong suspicion your sister has embezzled about $5 million over the past 3 years." That afternoon, Caitlyn vanished from the firm. "Mom." Caitlyn left without saying anything. Emma held her breath after receiving Diana's panicked phone call. Her sister had taken out a significant quantity of money and disappeared, leaving behind her 7-year-old kid, Jacob. As the investigation progressed, stunning revelations emerged one by one, moving real estate contract payments to secret accounts, inflating maintenance charges, and pocketing the difference. Freely using corporate seals and bank books by abusing her parents' confidence, and entirely managing internet banking by leveraging her elderly parents' digital illiteracy. Caitlyn was stopped by police at JFK International Airport on Friday evening as she attempted to exit the country. Why? Why would she do that? Robert held his head in his hands at the police station. The company's reputation was in ruins, and total liabilities could surpass $10 million. Diana broke down in tears at home. Outside the window, the flowers Sophie had once cared for swung sadly, untouched. Emma quietly watched the news in Grace's vacation home living room. Michael was helping police with their digital forensic investigation. That night, Sophie penned a little prayer in her diary. "Please don't let Mom be sad, and please don't let Jacob be lonely." Caitlyn Bradley quietly confesses to her misdeeds in the interview chamber at the Greenwich police station. Her voice lacked the bravado it formerly possessed. Her fancy brand suit had been replaced with police work clothing, and her flawless makeup had faded. As the investigation progressed, more alarming truths emerged. The first fraud started 3 years ago. Caitlyn began embezzling little amounts following her divorce as she struggled to pay alimony. However, her subsequent addiction to a luxury lifestyle led to more serious crimes. Of the $3 million in contract payments from business partners, $500,000 was directed to private accounts. The investigators quietly took notes on her testimony. Meanwhile, in Bradley Real Estate's headquarters, the corporation faced its most serious problem since its inception. "At this rate, we LL have to let go of all properties," James Foster, designated as bankruptcy trustee, said sternly. Employees exchanged concerned looks. Amidst this, an unexpected development occurred. Mrs. Johnson, who lived close, turned in an album to the police. It was a collection of images depicting Sophie's regular activities. That child came to their house every day. The collection contains precisely dated images of Sophie maintaining her garden, baking cookies with her parents, and attending her grandparents to hospital visits. She never missed a day, regardless of the weather. Next, security camera footage was examined. There are records of visits for 367 days straight without missing a single day, the police technician stated. Even on New Year's Eve, and when she had a fever from the flu, Sophie always went to her grandparents' house. The St. Mary's Church Women's Association also provided testimonials. Every Sunday after Mass, Sophie would pray for them. Pastor Michael O'Connor explained quietly. She would always say, "Please let Grandpa and Grandma stay healthy." It was like an angel's pure prayer. On the morning of April 20th, Robert and Diana went to Grace's holiday home. The two appeared more weary than ever before. Their pricey suits had been replaced by more modest casual clothes, and Diana's rings vanished. "Emma, we need to talk to you," Robert told his daughter through tears. "We made a terrible mistake." Diana continued with a shaky voice. "That child, Sophie's unconditional love, we trampled on it." The two began to speak openly about their enormous expectations for Caitlyn, their fixation with bloodlines, their anxiety over the company's succession, and most importantly, their folly in failing to recognize the genuine gem lying in front of their eyes. Diana sobbed. "She came every day, yet we just let ourselves be led by Caitlyn's words." As Emma listened, complex feelings swirled in her chest, including rage, despair, and a weird sensation of liberty. At that point, little footsteps were heard upstairs. "Grandpa, Grandma." Sophie descended the stairs, still wearing her school uniform. For a brief moment, the room's atmosphere became frozen. However, Sophie's next move surpassed everyone's expectations. She walked directly to her grandparents and tenderly embraced them with her small arms. "Do not cry. I'd like to forgive you." At that point, the room was completely silent. In the kitchen, Grace discreetly touched her fingertips to her eyes. Michael sighed deeply as he stared out the window. Emma calmly made her decision while resting her palm on her daughter's back. "Dad, Mom, let's talk about what happens from here on. All of us together." Soft spring sunlight shone into the room. Outside the window, the flowers Sophie had planted were gently starting to bloom, signaling the start of a new season.